integrity, rejects ePoll books. Liz Collin from Alpha News had a conversation with the Isanti County Board of Commissioners, Alan Duff. He joined her on the podcast this week. We'll talk with Liz Collin next, but here's a bit of a preview of what you can listen to in its entirety at alphanews.org here on Twin Cities News Talk.
Isanti County recently made the rare decision as commissioners to reject buying ePoll books or poll pads. But why were they rejected then in Isanti County?
16 of our 19 precincts were very clear with us that they did not want them in their local townships. The two cities, Isanti and Bram, both of them were very clear to us that if we were to choose the ePoll pads, that they would move off the rosters and continue with the paper rosters.
Liz Collin from Alpha News knows a thing or two about that. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning. That's me. Hello. Good to talk to you, John. And congratulations on your graduate. Looks like that all went well.
Yes, despite those in attendance at the Mariucci Arena not abiding by the don't conduct any excessive noise requests. Yeah. It was fantastic. I don't mean to undermine what a great moment it was, but that was a level of frustration I was not expecting.
Yeah, those rules don't seem to be going over very well for the last few years. It seems to be getting worse. No doubt about that.
Rules kind of go out the window on the streets of Minneapolis, too. We'll get into that here coming up in just a moment. But let's focus on this, available at alphanews.org, a rare move in the fight for election integrity. So what are these ePoll books? Why is Isanti County rejecting them? And talk a little bit about this conversation that you had with the County Board of Commissioners, Alan Duff.
Yeah, so this is a recent podcast that we put up over on Alpha News, but Alan is the Isanti County, with the Isanti County Board of Commissioners. He's the chair, but this was a 4-0 vote over in Isanti County to do away with altogether. They had a couple precincts that were actually using these. The ePoll books, they're basically the kind of the first point of technology you'd encounter at a polling place. 70% of the state uses them, but so many people are just not comfortable with really computers having anything to do with our election system. And this county board took the rare move of saying, you know what, people are not comfortable. We're hearing from, our constituents who we represent, not to do this. And they looked into themselves, into this technology and said, we're going to go ahead and not move forward with this. And, the technology goes out to date. They say every 6 or 7 years on these things, they become obsolete. But, had a conversation with Alan about that. And ACIT, the Anoka County group, we've done some reporting on as well, has talked about, how more and more it just seems that there's really no reason for these. And the only way we're really going to secure our elections in Minnesota or anywhere is to get back to paper as much as possible. And this is sort of one step in that process.
Now, I don't want to give away all the details of what was discussed. I encourage everybody to head on over to alphanews.org. But you did reach out because at Alpha News, you guys are very comprehensive in your journalism and reporting. You reached out to the Minnesota Secretary of State, Steve Simon's office, to ask their support of the ePoll books. And what was can you give us just a bit of what the response was from the Secretary of State's office?
Yeah, not surprising. We've done some reporting on this in the past, but they say that most places in Minnesota are using them, so people should feel comfortable. But they also respect the right for any county to make this decision. What's interesting is in the video itself, we bring up, and we've brought this up before, but our Attorney General Keith Ellison back in November of 2020, hours before the polls closed in Minnesota, talking about we don't have the votes that we need yet, and there were a lot of questions about how the heck does this guy know what votes are needed at this point. And so we asked the Secretary of State, because that has been the thought, are they reporting back to the state somehow before the polls are actually closed? The Secretary of State's office says no. But what was interesting is Ellison took that tweet down, which I think, brought about even more questions. So again, if it's just a way to make people, more comfortable and confident in their vote, why not go ahead and listen to them and do what they'd like?
Again, I encourage everybody to head on over to alphanews.org for that. Before we let you go this morning, I do want to find out what else you guys have going on at the website. We'll keep it a little bit shorter than our typical conversations.